Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so sorry. Please don't exit the video. Please stay and watch the video. Today we are doing this Circus theme first birthday video. No double stuff colors. We have yellow, red, blue, and gold chrome. And yeah, that's what we have. So let's get started because there was a lot going on. It was outdoors, hot, sweating, all types of problems. Let's jump right into the video. Before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. So originally when the client reached out, we had agreed on doing a half garland on a backdrop. As you see, the backdrop was not successful. The backdrop ended up being a partial tablecloth, and I used the frame and tied it to the legs of that 6-foot table to help with this, I guess, wall that we about to do. So I have 260s tied to the frame of the backdrop, and I tied it to the pole at the top. And this is a trick I seen on Moments by Mick Real, who she credited to the Balloon River on Instagram. And it basically holds as some kind of frame for the wall that you're doing. Just extra support just to secure it a little bit more. So I have 3 rig points for these 260s going, and they will be in, like, once I'm adding on these clusters, I will be pushing those 260s in the middle of it just so it holds as extra support for the wall. And I'm using clusters of 6 balloons, and I have the 16-inch balloon or 18-inch. I'm not sure if these were, I think these were all Sempertex. The yellow was Qualatex. So 18-inch balloons in the red and the blue. And I'm making sure when I'm putting these clusters together that I'm making sure that my 18 inches are pointed to the front and not to the side. Number one, because it helps break up those 11-inch balloons. And number two, if it's pointed out to the side, when you go to add another cluster, it's going to make a huge gap because now you have that 18-inch pointed out to the side and not to the front. So I'm adding on, and we're going to do, because of all the complications with the backdrop and it's falling, we are actually going to just do a wall, but I'm going to make it to the shape. I don't even know what that shape is. Like, it's like pointy. It's kind of like the circus theme, how the tents be when it's pointy at the top and then it comes down and flare out. So that's what I'm doing today. Something we came up really quick on site because of the backdrop not working, and I just pitched this to the client. She was like, whatever, let's just get whatever we can get out of it and get it done. So that's what I came up with. And walls are so easy to me because literally you can do anything you want with them. You can play around with them however you like, and you can make any kind of shape with a wall. So I love doing walls. And as you see, I'm literally just tying those clusters. I have Noelle with me today. She's helping me out, passing me those clusters. And I'm just tying them neck to neck. And when you tie them to the, as you see, I tied the blue one to the yellow. And now I'm going to tie that blue one to the yellow that's in the middle as well. So you want to make sure you're tying them at 2 different points so it's nice and compact and tight. And it's not going to move anywhere. So that's what I'm doing now as I'm adding on these clusters. And something else that happened. So this is something, a really big tip, you guys. When you're working outdoors, you want to make sure, which I did actually confirm with the client, as I asked her, was there be any kind of outlet outdoors? And she said there will be a generator. And yes, there was a generator. However, the generator was not working for us. I don't know, maybe we just couldn't figure it out. At some point we did get the generator started up and we was able to use it, but it really wasn't really helping with the balloon inflator that I had, which I was only using the Amazon one, the pink one. So like the voltage is not super high where it couldn't be used. So we end up having to use a hand pump. When I say I left with like a few blisters, you guys. So we had left this setup, you know, me myself for sure, I had a few blisters, my skin was peeling and everything, but I had to do what I have to do because I was not going to leave it half done. So, I mean, I don't know, besides asking the client about, any outlets on site, if you're outdoors, and if it's not, do they have a generator? And if they don't have a generator and you don't have if you don't have an outlet, you don't have a generator, then that's up to you to decide if you want to take on that client. Because I know for sure, or if you want, you would just have to maybe perhaps rent a U-Haul and inflate everything at home, and then of course that U-Haul cost will go to the client. So that's something to consider in the future and how you would like to proceed. If I knew the generator, so now when someone say outdoors and they have a generator, and maybe I asked if there will be someone there that know how to work the generator, that will be able to assist, because we was basically doing it on our own, and we really me and Noelle didn't really know much about it. Like, I think we had to pull up YouTube and everything. So maybe that was something else I would add. And even if I do ask those questions, I probably still will consider getting a U-Haul and inflating as much as I can, even though I still wouldn't have been prepared for this, because we end up doing a totally different setup for this balloon. We end up not doing the garland, so it would end up being a total different setup for this. So I don't know if I would have been that prepared with inflating those extra balloons at home. So because we were waiting on that generator, I basically started adding those 5 inches on. You guys know I usually add my 5 inches at the end of the setup, but because I was waiting on getting that generator set up, I'm like, let me just add them right now, and that's what I started to do. And gold chrome was part of the color. However, I didn't want to do big clusters of gold chrome. I thought it would be really pretty because it is that circus theme to just do. And this is something I usually don't do, which is like one color scattered throughout with like small clusters. But I thought it was appropriate when using like a chrome, it would be okay, which I actually love it. So I did the quads of gold in just the 5-inch balloons and scattered those throughout and added them. And when I'm adding my 5-inch balloons, I'm using only the neck of the balloon. I'm not using, if I can't use the neck, then I'll use a 260, but most of the time I'm able to just find a neck inside the cluster and tie my 5-inch balloons on. And that's what I did for this. And you want to make sure your 5-inch balloons are sized appropriately. And when I say that, I mean sized to maybe 3 or 3.5 inches. You don't want your 5-inch balloons to be actually 5 inches, because then it just looks like a cluster of 11-inch, almost a cluster of 11-inch balloons, and not really the 5-inch balloon is supposed to be, or size down. Just like we have 11-inch balloons, we don't size them to 11 inches. We size them down to about 8.5. And you want to do the same thing when you're working with those 5-inch balloons. You want to size them down to 3.5. I'm telling you guys, it will make a huge difference when building your garland and adding them on your design. So now I'm going in, adding those extra clusters. And I don't have too much footage of me doing the sides, mainly because we started to inflate them with our hands and it was just a lot going on. I just had to do what I have to do. So I started to, add those 5 inches as I was going on, just because I was, waiting to do clusters and things like that. So I only can do what I can. And now I'm just adding some clusters on the right side, and I will be bringing it all the way down to the ground. So it looks like the wall is like this huge wall coming down to the ground, even though it's not. It's stopping at the table, and then the sides is the only thing that's coming down. So just mainly what I learned with doing balloons is most of the time things is just an illusion. You may think it's one way, but it's really not. When you in front of it in the picture, it looks one way, but when you really in front and you in person, it's and you look and I guess examine everything, it's totally different. Because if you didn't see this in person, you would think the wall went all the way down to the ground, like even the back of the balloons on the table, but it didn't. It stops at the table and then the sides come down to the ground. So that's what we did. And like I mentioned, I was adding those 5 inches as I was going, just because we had to wait in between just to get those clusters made. So this is how everything turned out. It was a lot doing this setup, but I love the outcome. It was fun. It was a different shape of a wall that I never did before. So I didn't mind at all. If you guys have any questions, please leave it in the description box. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.